Well, thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Bart Boschmans, and pronunciation was actually quite good. Probably I'm the speaker that comes from the most remote location to this conference, all the way from Brussels, together with my colleagues here, who I will introduce a little bit later. So I'm not presenting a product or a solution like most speakers, so you will not see any forward-looking statements. I'm actually here to present to you the region of Flanders, and actually more specific as a potential investment location for Australian companies. Now, maybe a little bit more information on, I don't know how the pointer works. All right, easy. So I've been speaking to a number of people yesterday and today, and Belgium, let alone Flanders, is not very known here. So just some basic facts from my side for you. So Belgium is in the heart of Europe, a federal state, just like Australia. We have 3 regions. In the north, we have Flanders, mostly Dutch-speaking region, with about 60% of the population. There's in the middle, and also it's both the Brussels region as the capital of Flanders and Belgium, to make it a bit more complicated. And in the south, there's the region of Wallonia, mostly French-speaking. So population is around 12 million, and most of those, or almost 70%, live in Flanders. Now, some key facts about Flanders at a glance. As a location towards companies, we can really give you a great access to the European market. We're in the middle between France, Netherlands, Germany, and the UK. And if you see that shaded area, we also sometimes refer to it as the blue banana. It's actually the economic and industrial heartland of Europe, ranging from North England to north of Italy, with Benelux in there, Paris area, Rhine-Ruhr in Germany. And it's about 100 of the 450 million European Union inhabitants, with almost 60% of the EU's wealth. So tremendous concentration of purchasing power there. Now, one of the taglines we use is come for the market and stay for the knowledge. It's true, we do not have the natural resources, so these are our natural resources, the brains, our knowledge, and we take pride as a region that we spend 3.5%, and the government's intention is to even increase that 3.5% of GDP today to R&D. That is second highest in Europe. We also refer to ourselves as being sort of the control tower of Europe, as we house the seat, the headquarters of the European Union and NATO. So it has the second largest center in the world for diplomats. Almost 4,000 diplomats work in Brussels. And of course, that means that you would be very close to the legislative and decision-making bodies. Easy access to Europe's main cities. I suppose some of you have been to Brussels or the area. So we have very easy train connections to some of the major surrounding cities. It's between 1.5 hours and 2 hours to London, Amsterdam, Paris, and then flight time to the bit more remote cities, Berlin, Rome, and so on, is mostly 1 hour to 2 hours. So very easy access. You can do easily a meeting in London, leaving in Brussels, and be back in the evening. The location means that we are very well positioned in terms of logistics, well connected to Europe and the world. So we actually host around almost 700 European distribution centers, where companies store their goods and distribute them from there all over Europe and the world. To name a few: Nike, DHL, Toyota. There's 4 international airports, with Brussels, of course, being the main one. I would also like to mention, referring to yesterday's topic of life science, that Brussels Airport is a major hub for cold chain pharma logistics. And we have also 3 international ports. Biggest one of them is Port of Antwerp-Bruges, which is the second biggest port in Europe, and is a real hub for chemical and cargo and roll-on, roll-off traffic. It's also the second biggest petrochemical cluster in the world after Houston, so a huge concentration of companies there. Now, when I told my boss I would like to go to Australia for this conference, she said, well, why you want to go? Because everybody's always a bit jealous if you go to Australia. And said, well, look at the themes of emergence. They fully, or they align for a great deal with the themes that are presented here today, tomorrow, and yesterday. Take yesterday, topics like biotech, medtech, life science in general is really where we are strong at as a region. It's really a thriving system of young scale-ups, established local companies and multinationals that cross the whole value chain from research, development to commercialization. And some of the main advantages we offer in that area are a speedy procedure for clinical trials, a nice set of R&D incentives for companies that are active in that sector. And actually, Flanders has the highest biotech market capitalization in Europe, which would surprise you maybe for a relatively small region. There's Flanders Make, which is the research center for advanced manufacturing, Vito for new energy, and I would particularly also want to highlight IMEC, which is the world-renowned independent hub for nanoelectronics and digital technology. It is a spin-off created already in the 1980s from the University of Leuven, which is one of the oldest universities in the world. And it hosts, it's actually wrong, what's here, should be a 5,500 international researchers researching and developing the future technologies in terms of microchips. And they already had also 130 spin-offs, and they support scale-ups, startups via the IMEC Startup Accelerator. Beyond chips, they also invest strongly in smart health, sustainable energy, and intelligent mobility. I said it before, talent is for us a crucial element in keeping up. It's crucial for our welfare and as a development motor for our economy. And consistently, our workforce ranks high worldwide in themes like mathematics, science literacy, and reading skills. I would also like to highlight that just by our location, people are, or a lot of people are multilingual, because we're somehow on this crossroads of the Germanic, the Roman, and the Anglo-Saxon culture and business culture. So we have a multilingual workforce, which of course is very attractive for foreign companies. So our proposition to Australian companies is strategic access to the EU market, a market of almost 500 million consumers, world-leading research institutions, a highly skilled multilingual workforce, and in these turbulent times, not unusual or not unimportant, a stable regulation with investor-friendly tax incentives, combined with strong ecosystem in biotech, AI, digital tech, and sustainable manufacturing. Now, what are the investment opportunities for companies, investors from Australia? First of all, strategic industrial or manufacturing projects. There are already a number of Australian companies active in Flanders. For example, Cochlear as their technology center in the region of Flanders, their European Technology Center. the Sonic Healthcare company, huge Australian healthcare company, has a second biggest pathology and blood sample lab in Flanders. So we can offer companies also R&D partnerships with these research institutions, and they can often benefit from grants and subsidies from our government. There's investment possibilities in high growth scale-ups, corporate venture co-investment opportunities, and there's private equity VC funds where that also looking for additional investors and collaboration with foreign partners. Yes, I will wrap up. These are a number of incentives that we are able to give. Of course, we'll not go into detail. We have actually a booth outside. You see it's in the bright yellow. So if you're interested and you want more information, I will be there together with my colleague from our Melbourne office, Luca and Dolores. Thank you very much, and looking forward to meet you later at our booth.